Welcome to The Buzz, where we bring you the leaders in dental education, discussing hot topic courses and industry trends. I'm your host, Vanessa Emerson, founder of Dental Speakers Bureau, and today I'm interviewing Katrina Sanders. Welcome, Katrina.
Hi, Vanessa. Thank you so much for having me.
Glad you're here. Now, Katrina is a published author. She also offers a board preparatory course for hygiene students, and she's an award-winning educator with a unique approach to delivering continuing education courses. So I'm really excited to be with you today, Katrina, to talk about your courses. First, we'll be talking about infection control when you absolutely don't want to go viral. That's a great topic. Can you tell us, there are other infection control courses on the market. Can you tell us, how do you think this course differentiates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Vanessa, for that wonderful introduction. To start, the infection control coursework that is out there that dental professionals are oftentimes required by their local component or their state component to attain in order to renew licensure can be a bit dry. It oftentimes is a course that dental professionals aren't necessarily the most excited about going to, because a lot of times it's a review on a lot of the protocols that are already being integrated into the operatory. It's usually coursework in using cavicide wipes and barriers for the operatory and things like that. And so that can oftentimes make it a really long morning or afternoon. What I love about being able to instruct this infection control course is that it has a completely unique spin on infection control, because I talk about infectious diseases over a survey of time. So we begin with, 400 BC, talking about, miasmic theories, and we move through time as we see societal changes, as we see societal norms begin to develop, as we begin to see the roles that medical or dental providers play in the control of infection. And so as we move through a morning or an afternoon of this beautiful timeline, dental providers get to see where some of these protocols really came from. Why is it important for us to do thorough hand washing before treating a patient? Or why is it important that we properly sterilize our equipment or dispose of critical equipment, things like that? So what I love about it is that it's very integrative. It's unique in that it's not your typical bullet points next to me with the different protocols you need to be integrating. It's different. And in turn, the feedback that I've received from meeting planners when I've delivered this course is that it just was so fresh and different. And they were grateful to be able to offer a course that participants need, but be able to offer something where we actually had a really great time and we laughed and we learned some really unique, fun facts. Next time you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, maybe you'll know the answer because of something that was in my course. So I love it. I'm certainly very enthusiastic about microbiology, and that little microbiome nerd in me kind of comes out when I speak on the topic. And so it's one of my favorite topics to discuss, and in turn becomes a course favorite for participants who attend.
Well, I have to say that that's one of the first times I've ever heard someone say that microbiology is one of their favorite topics to discuss. And it's clear that you're passionate and excited about it, which goes a long way as well in making it an enjoyable course. Now, is there something particular, and I may have missed this, is there interactive course? Is it a workshop style? Do you do exercises? Or how do you, ultimately where I'm going with this is, how do you ensure return on investment for the attendee, that they make sure they learn what they need for their licensing and to be able to put this back to use on Monday? How do you ensure that as an educator?
Sure. Great question. One of the things that I find really important is not only that my participants are engaged in what's going on, but that they really feel like they are part of the course. So there's a lot of robust discussion that occurs when we talk about not only the protocols that dental providers are currently using with their infection control procedures, but also different types of patient experiences, how to appropriately and respectfully handle patients that maybe have an immunocompromised disorder. And so it really becomes this really integrative conversation with everybody in the audience, which can be a lot of fun, especially when we begin talking about some of the interesting components of the different types of infections. What I love is when participants come up to me afterwards and, will show me pictures of their dogs, because we talk about dachshunds and how important they were in the control of the bubonic plague. I have a Chiweenie myself, a Chihuahua dachshund mix named Huey. So I show a picture of Huey and we talk about that. And so I love that participants come up afterwards. Hey, I have a dachshund. This is my dog. And we really get to, see that come together and see that connection with the participants of the course.
Oh, it sounds like it's a fun course. Now, what is the suggested length for this, and what is like on the low end and the long end that you would be able to present this?
So I would say in California, the infection control requirement is 2 hours. So I would say at least a minimum of 2 hours, although we are here in the beautiful state of Arizona. And in Arizona, the requirement is a 3-hour CE course. So if you're wanting to comply with what participants would want for their licensure renewals, 2 to 3 hours is going to be the ideal for a course like this.
So typically depending upon the state and what their license requires, but you're able to flex to at least 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then who would be your typical attendee?
My typical attendee is anybody from the dentist or dental specialist to the hygienist, the assistant, particularly your lead assistant who is making decisions about infection control protocols, who may be the person placing orders for infection control equipment, things like that. But I also find that front office, your administrative staff also really appreciate this, because it's a great way for them to understand why infection control is important in the back office. And it's also not a heavy scientific course. And so it's a really fun historical course that connects with all providers and staff.
And it really sounds like something for the whole team would benefit from knowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, is there anything, before we go, Katrina, is there anything that we haven't talked about that would be important for the event planner to know about this course?
Mm-hmm. I would say one of the things that dentistry is constantly addressing are the concerns of infection control. It seems like every other day we're seeing a new news article about a dentist or an oral surgeon or a facility who had inadequate infection control procedures. And now patients are being infected with some kind of a disease. Patients are seeing those news articles, they're coming in, they're asking about infection control. So this is something that is not just affecting the provider, but is something that is being published for our patients to be made aware of. And so this type of a course is important not only for requirements of our state component, but also because it's important for dentistry to take that leap forward and make sure that we are all evaluating the protocols that we have in place to make sure that we are providing the best and safest care for our patients.
Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Katrina, and being here.
Thank you.
And for the event planner who is interested in bringing Katrina Sanders to their meeting, visit dentalspeakersbureau.com to learn more. And thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you.